Sydney's police photographers have captured the spirit of Australia's Sin City. In strikingly candid, artistic portraits of drug dealers, crime bosses, thugs, conspirators, slick crooks, brutal killers, and vicious women. The Sydney Justice and Police Museum has 130,000 negatives in its collection, some of which have been digitized and are available on the museum's website. Each image is paired with a story that sheds light on criminal activity in Sydney between the two wars, from 1910 to 1946. What is unique about the collection is that local police photographers did not operate under an internationally established shooting protocol. Suspects were allowed to pose freely in front of the camera, holding bags, papers, and cigarettes. The surviving footage, filled with the suspect's personality, differs little from the usual studio portraits. Fraudsters with a penetrating look, dressed with the needle gangsters, reliable-looking rapists. The striking difference from the standard protocol images in profile and full face encourages to study faces, to wonder at the deceptiveness of appearance. The photographs are in such a delicate balance with their stories that a glance at the photo, learning about the crime committed by a person, makes you realize how insidious and diverse the criminal world is. These images were called special photographs by the Sydney police. The person in such informal shots was without handcuffs or other signs of detention. The photo could be shown to witnesses for identification without fear, and the police provided the photos to the press to illustrate high-profile cases. Often, without wanting to, freely posing, criminals gave away their habits, characteristic habits. It also helped investigators. The pioneer of this unconventional approach to police photography was Constable George B. Howard of the New South Wales Police Force. He skillfully handled a large format camera and did his own developing. In addition to the artistry of the pictures, their aesthetics, he was responsible for the discovery and introduction of the double-esque print. When one negative contains the image of the criminal in a double pose, portrait and full length. When creating the negative, the back of the glass plate was also imprinted with the suspect's fingerprints, notes about the crime, and police officers mastered the technique of writing backwards. Howard created the largest rogues gallery in Australia since Scotland Yard. Criminals considered the police photographer their real threat. The local criminal environment of the time demanded such a thorough approach. Sydney's first European settlers were criminals. For many years, the city has held a reputation for being home to some of the most violent, vicious, and cunning crooks in the world. The images collected in the museum's archive truthfully tell the story of Sydney's Roaring Twenties. The razor gangs that sprang up after the gun licensing laws were released. As anyone caught with a gun was going to jail, fighting over territory, gangs slaughtered each other. Tilly Devine, Kate Lee, Norman Brown, all of these razor gang leaders are pictured. The ruthless war between gangster Kate Lee and brothel owner Matilda Tilly. Devine caused many casualties. Fighting for areas of influence, the women organized gang warfare, attacked police officers, could brutally fight on the street when they met. Kate ordered to cut and beat the members of the group Tilly, that in turn robbed Store's rival, attacked her cocaine dealers. During one of the fights, Kate Lee, placing on the roof of the snipers, ordered to shoot off the opponents. Burglary gangs were active in the city. One of them, consisting of Italian immigrants led by engineer Giovanni Lucci, was identified by an undercover policeman. The gang was apprehended during a night raid. Some crimes are like the plot of a detective movie. The high-profile case of Eugenia Faleni, a fraudster for many years, pretended to be a man, Harry Crawford, fraudulently married a widow, Annie Burkett, who was then killed. The story of the most dexterous thief, Ethel Violet May Benn, who, running from the police being pregnant, jumped off a 6-meter cliff. The digitization of the museum's archives has been going on for more than a decade. In 1990, a massive flood inundated the New South Wales police storage facilities with all the negatives. Some of the plates were damaged, but many were salvaged. The police contacted the Justice and Police Museum, handing over the damaged archive. The collection was washed, dried, and repackaged. During digitization, stories of frightening images of a bygone Sydney began to surface. The most high-profile of these are reflected in the stories and blog sections of the museum's website, all illustrated with digitized archival photographs. The museum has also published a number of books on the lives of legendary criminals, gang activity, and the most high-profile crimes.